let's start this week together on an amazing note. What do you say? Welcome back to the show. It's Jeremiah Wonders, baby. Appreciate you guys listening. I had a good week. Yeah, I played some basketball on Saturday after all the rain in Los Angeles went away. It felt good to get back out on the court and hoop. It's always fun. I play with a bunch of comedian buddies, so there's a handful of guys that are genuinely like really good, but for the most part, we're all like around the same skill level. So that makes it fun too, that we're not getting constantly smeared or like breaking bones and stuff against each other. So that's nice. That was a lot of fun. And I also finished Black Mirror with my wife, and man, that's a good show. Finished the rest of the seasons, and I'm very curious where that show goes. But man, some of the episodes get so dark that we have to watch an episode of Curb with Larry David before we go to bed. Because I'll be one of those people who, if I watch a scary movie right before I go to sleep, I'm gonna be having some weird bad dreams. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I had this. I guess I'll share this. I had this dream recently that was pretty funny that I told my boy Patty Reagan about, that he thought it was hilarious, where I had this dream that Joe Rogan started wearing this really bad toupee, like this horrible toupee that was just like this. It was clear that it was a wig, and nobody would say anything to him. Like nobody would like call him out on it and be like, dude, that's a whack toupee you're wearing. That's a whack wig. And I was like looking at everybody like, am I crazy? Am I the only one who's seen this? And they're like, dude, calm down. It's Joe Rogan. You shouldn't say anything. I'm like, I think as a friend to him, I should tell him that it doesn't look good. And they're like, no, dude. It's Joe Rogan. Don't do that. They just kept telling me the logic behind it was that everybody in the dream was telling me, hey, man, you don't talk to Joe Rogan like that. What a weird dream, but a funny one. I want to do that with him as a sketch someday if he would ever be down. I think that'd be so funny. Also, been rehearsing a lot with my boy Patty Reagan, the full band, Joel Berg, Chroma Chris, Joel Rakowski. We're getting ready for that Reagan Watkins album. Can't wait for you guys to hear that. And we're hopefully going to be shooting a music video or two coming up. So by the time the album comes out, there will be some music videos available. That's some stuff that we're working on right now. Thank you to Joe's Pizza and LA Speedweed for being our loyal sponsors of the show. Hit up Joe's Pizza on Instagram at Joe's Pizza LA and tell them that Jeremiah Wonders sent you. Yeah. I had one guy who messaged me that said, hey, I went in there and told them that Jeremiah Wonders sent me. And the employee said, who's Jeremiah? So yeah, guys, I'm really making a footprint with all the employees at Joe's Pizza. No, I just talked to Joe. Joe's the one who hooks me up, so I need to get to know the employees, I guess, a little bit better. So whenever people actually go in and say that Jeremiah Wonder sent them, the employees aren't like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Gino over at Speedweed, thank you, man, for supporting the show, sponsoring the show. Hooked our guest up today, Stephen Kramer Glickman, with some LA Speedweed before he left. He was very appreciative of that. Hit up at Speedweed on Twitter. It's a marijuana delivery service, baby. Sticky, green, blueberry, yum, yum, kush, gush, gush, baloosh, douche. Yes, all the good stush. Yeah. Pizza and weed sponsors. Huh. That's an interesting artistic pairing, if I may say so myself. Also, hit up my buddy at NY_Z, Zoltan on Instagram. He has a new page called at The Art of Getting Up, and he makes flyers and he does all the art for my show. And if you ever need any Photoshop work done or anything like that, hit up Zoltan at The Art of Getting Up. Super easy to find on Instagram. Let's plug through some dates real quick. I want to get into this episode. Stephen Kramer Glickman was such a joy to have as a guest. He just got the concept of the show immediately. He freaking ran with it. He committed to it. And we just had a lot of fun. I've known him for years. He's a really good dude. And he's a good friend, and we've worked together a lot over the years in various capacities. And he's just one of those guys that, just like anybody else that I have on the show, I always wish good things to come for them. Speaking of that, I want to address something that has been kind of interesting. I've been getting really positive feedback on. I challenged you guys a little while ago to do something kind for a stranger. And I got a lot of feedback on that people really liked that idea of, just doing a kind of a kindness challenge, So if you, I'm going to do that again this week. Try to do something nice for either somebody, maybe it's a friend that you haven't talked to in a while, check back in with them, or make the effort to do something nice for a stranger. And it'll make you feel good. Guaranteed. Always makes me feel good. And you can send those to me at yourboyjeremiahwatkins@gmail.com. I'm waiting on permission to share one story that I got that is incredible, but I want to make sure that the guy who sent it to me is comfortable with me sharing it before I share it. Here's some dates. April 3rd, the Goddamn Comedy Jam is coming to Las Vegas. Get tickets for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. April 5th through 7th, Kill Tony is in Phoenix. Yeah. Man, that's going to be a lot of fun. The whole band's coming. Me, my boy Patty Reagan, Joel Berg, Tony Hinchcliffe, Brian Redman. Going to be a blast. April 10th, Stand Up on the Spot is back at the LA Comedy Store. If you haven't seen the show yet, it's my baby. You got to come see it. It's every second Tuesday of the month. It's so much fun. And I'm also bringing that show to Moon Tower in Austin, Texas. And that festival is April 19th through 21st. This is hands down one of my favorite comedy festivals that I get to be a part of. And I've been fortunate enough to be a performer there the last few years, and this year is super cool. Stand Up on the Spot's going to be there. The Goddamn Comedy Jam is going to be there. I'm going to be doing stand-up of my own around the festival. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, we're doing Big J. Okerson's What's Your Fucking Deal show. It's great. There's so many great shows that go on there, and it's just this awesome community of comedians all in close quarters, and you get to see so much show for the badge price for the festival. So definitely check that out if you're in the Austin area. Always love performing in Austin. April 27th through 29th, Wise Guys in Utah. I'm featuring for the Golden Pony. Tony Hinchcliffe, the Golden Goose, and the Golden Pony are coming at you. Get ready. May 10th, I'm headlining the Rec Room in Huntington Beach, and my buddy Omar Nava, I'm bringing him to feature with me, and also Justin Alexio will be on that show from the Building Years if you have listened way back in this feed. And May 11th, I'm headlining with The Wave, the San Diego Comedy Palace, so check that out. If you want to support the show, get a shirt over at jeremiahwatkins.tv/shop. Got all kinds of stuff. Wave shirts, Stand Up on the Spot shirts, some Kill Tony shirts. Check it out. Some Reagan and Watkins stuff. And also email your boy jeremiahwatkins@gmail.com if you're interested in sponsoring this show. I've got a couple new sponsors coming up soon that we're working out the details right now. And I appreciate, guys, all of your 5-star reviews on iTunes and the nice comments and reviews. I just went through some of those reviews, and I think I'll read some of them on a future episodes of the podcast. But I really appreciate it. That helps me a lot with my numbers and awareness of the show and everything. So to recap, let's do another kindness challenge this week. Man, it'll make you feel good. It's I can't explain it. I'm all about karma. If you've listened to this podcast at all, I don't want to get like too religious or anything like that, or spiritual on the show, too hippie or anything like that. But I do think that if you put positivity out into the universe, you definitely get it back. Times two sometimes. So who knows? Be positive for a selfish reason if you have to look at it that way. It'll be even better whenever it comes back your way. But I'm excited to drop this episode of Jeremiah Wonders today with none other than Stephen Kramer Glickman. But before I do that, just 1 second, guys. We're almost there. I forgot to do this. We have a letter that it came from a Roxanne. I don't know if you know her, but she's been writing into the show, and I wanted to read you the letter that she wrote. Hi, Jeremiah. I've been watching you on Kill Tony for years, from Maine. I ran out of Jeremiah Wonders podcast and moved on to the building years. I love the podcast you did with your boy Patty Reagan. Completely changed my perception of him. I played saxophone for years. Maybe that's why I like you so much, besides the obvious hair. I've never met a saxophone player I didn't like. Thank you for all the laughs. I was jumping up and down when you hosted the show and dismissed the guests immediately. It is my favorite moment on Kill Tony. Take care. This is Katie. Thanks for listening, Katie. And I appreciate the kind words and you messaging into the show. You can also message into the show. And with any guest suggestions, any comments about the show, any letters or anything, at your boy Jeremiah Watkins at gmail.com. Thanks so much for that nice letter. And without further ado, now here is my friend, Stephen Kramer Glickman. Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Oh, yeah. Bringing the heat.
Bringing the heat in the apartment.
Oh, yeah. How are you, beautiful?
Oh, I'm great, beautiful. How are you?
I'm great. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, man. Whenever I was thinking of guests for the show, I was like, you know who's going to be a great guest? Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Then you know what? I get that.
You get that a lot?
I get it, brother. I get it. You know, though, when you asked me to do this podcast, I said, oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
There was no doubt in my mind that I would be here. Mm-hmm. I love you, man. You're great comedy. You're very fun. You are enjoyable and a delight.
Well, that's all the time we have today on the show, guys. Thanks so much. Follow Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Absolutely. Just follow me around.
What if it was a podcast where somebody has you on and they just like pimp you into complimenting them, and then they're like, "That's all the time we have."
That would be that's most shows.
It's a lot of podcasts.
That's a lot of podcasts.
Like, remember that time I did that thing for you, and you're like,
yeah, you're like, why are we doing this?
Oh, okay,
what is happening right now?
Sure.
You want to hear a weird thing that happened to me today?
I would love to.
All right. I posted about it on Facebook, but I'll read it to you.
I really like your story posts on Facebook, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Are they good?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that I enjoyed them if they weren't good. I enjoy bad stories on Facebook.
I try my hardest. This was sent to me today. I don't know who this person is, but I will tell you their name. It's Ruth Friedman Patterson.
Okay.
I don't know this woman. She sent me a message to my fan page because I'm fancy. Mm-hmm. I don't know this woman, though. This is how it starts. Without sounding like a stalker, you look so much like my ex-husband and my son, it's a little disturbing. You and Harry literally could pass as brothers. I know you grew up in California. Were your parents always together? My ex-husband has joked many times about his California life and the possibility of a child out there. Please know I'm not looking for anything, just curious. This is real. This is 100% real.
Oh, my goodness.
This was sent to me this morning. And then I wrote back, my parents got divorced when I was 14. That's so weird. How did you find my picture? She said, I Googled my ex-husband and your picture came up. It's almost scary. I'm not sure, but if you can see it, but here's a picture of my son. And then you just sent me a picture of like a fat guy with a beard. And I was like, okay, can you send me a picture of your ex-husband so I know if it's my shitty father who I already know is a piece of shit? Like, it could be possibly him. And she sent me a picture of like another fat bearded guy.
With a beard.
And I was like, not all fat bearded guys are related, lady.
Dude,
like, what the fuck?
I get constantly approached by people that say that I look like their roommate in college.
Yeah.
Or like a friend of theirs from back in the day. It's never a bad thing. Like, you remind me of this douchebag that I used to know. It's always like a positive, like, I love that guy who's like, I haven't talked to him forever, but like, you have a friend that you look exactly like my friend. And then they show me the picture. it's always the goofiest looking white guy with just like a schnoz and just moppy hair. Like, it doesn't even have to be blonde hair. It's like just scraggly, gross, like meth heads that they're showing me pictures of. And they're like, he was the nicest guy.
He was so cool.
He's so cool.
Maybe
man.
we can be friends.
Right.
And you're like, no, thank you.
This is a horrible start.
This is a horrible way to start this. Yeah, that never ends well. Like,
have you ever gotten one person that somebody's shown you a picture of that you're like, I guess I can kind of see that? It's so rare.
It's
for me.
very, very
it's
rare.
So rare. It's always just like this doofus looking guy who's like, hello,
hey. My name is Mark.
Yeah.
But a lot of people tell me I look like Jeremiah. And you're like, no, that is not.
No, dude.
Many years ago at the Kids' Choice Awards, I started walking down the carpet and someone goes, "It's Will Sasso." Someone just yelled that out.
Oh, man.
And every single photo from that year, we're talking like 25 photographers, all marked me down as Will Sasso.
Oh, no.
And if you Google Will Sasso Kids' Choice Awards right now, my picture will pop up first. 100%. Still to this day. If you do it, it'll pop up. It'll be the first thing that shows up.
Hey, man, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, me and Sasso. Every once in a while, though, like I'll see, there's someone every once in a while that like I'll see and be like, oh, I kind of could be like we could be related. I
get the one that I get that I guess is the closest. If I put on sunglasses or whatever, people will say, "You look like David Guetta," and I'm like, okay, sure. I can kind of see that. If I have sunglasses on or whatever, and I'm wearing if I'm wearing a trendy kind of jacket or something,
right?
And I'm like, all right, yeah.
When I was a young kid, I had spiky hair. I had like real spiky hair. And everyone said I looked like the lead singer of Smash Mouth.
Oh, my goodness.
And they used to call me Smash Mouth. They'd yell Smash Mouth at me.
They just yell Smash Mouth?
Yeah. Yeah, but they're assholes.
I think we're getting a phone call right now, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Hello? Is this the lead singer from Smash Mouth?
Hey, Steven. How you doing?
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. It's great to finally get to meet you.
Dude, people tell me we look like a lot alike all the time.
Wow, really?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time?
Yeah, man.
You know, somebody once told me the world was going to roll me and that I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Dude, somebody once told me, all that glitter is gold.
Wow, it's an honor to meet you. What have you been up to lately?
Oh, you know, my career's taken off like a shooting star.
Wow, that's incredible, man. Good for you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, man. Dude, I heard that the Los Angeles like weather has been a little bit colder lately.
Yeah.
It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder.
Jesus Christ. I'm hanging up.
Okay. We just lost him. I don't know.
I don't know what happened. Wow.
Yeah.
That was
Dude, I think that he was kind of shoving down his one-hit wonder into the conversation.
It was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing,
I was
man.
surprised how many lyrics he pulled off in that short amount of time.
The fact that he was able to pull so many lyrics from so many different songs
yeah, right?
at once was very impressive. Good
oh, no,
for him.
I think he's calling back in.
Oh, no.
Then I saw her face.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm a believer. Hey, man, I heard you were in Shrek, dude.
Oh, well, yeah, but no.
All right. We lost him again. I don't know what happened.
That's the fucking weirdest thing that I've seen happen in a long time.
I don't know, man. You emit a very specific energy that's drawing these people to call into the show.
People are gonna keep calling. You never know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Dude, we should talk about how you were like involved in the Shrek process briefly, because I find it very interesting.
It's pretty weird.
It's very weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was working at the Comedy Store. Eric Marino, our dear friend Eric Marino.
Yeah.
You know Eric came and bothered me in the office one day and was like, because I was the phone operator at the Comedy Store, and he came by and was like, "Hey, man, You should. They're auditioning for a Shrek musical. You should go audition for it.
Were you right away like, screw you, man?
I said, you should go fuck yourself. That's what I said back to him. I was like, I'm not auditioning for that. Like, and he was like, no, man, you should do it. Like, you'd be great. And I blew him off completely. And then about 3 months later, he came back and was like, they're doing it again. You have to go and audition. And I kept saying no. And then I told my family that time, and everyone was like, you have to go. You have to go. And so then I went to the open call.
Is that a good feeling or a frustrating feeling whenever your family is like, you know what? We've been talking to Eric, and we really think that's a good idea.
You look like that's what you should be doing with your life. That's what yeah. I mean, it's a weird, yeah. When I walked into that audition, there were 100 fat guys just sitting in that room, just the ugliest fucking people you've ever seen, and just it just smelled so bad in that audition room. It
smelled like fat dudes.
It just smelled like fat dudes in that room, just like no one had taken a shower. Like they just, everyone had beards. It was just embarrassing. It was like an embarrassing room to be in, and then. Yeah, and that was super weird. And then it was like 32 callbacks for that. 32 callbacks. It was like every other day for like a few months, like 2 months.
That you would go in?
I'd go in, yeah,
what?
every other day.
Now, at that point, do they have to start paying you a little bit for that many?
No, if I was in the union, they would have had to, but I was not in the union.
And this is to clarify for the listener
for the Broadway musical,
the Broadway
Shrek.
Musical Shrek,
yeah,
okay.
which had not come out, had not come out, and it was DreamWorks. It was their first time doing a Broadway musical,
yeah,
and it was super weird, man, and especially because like I'm trying to run lines, at the Comedy Store, and so I would go up to like Bobby Lee and be like, can we run lines together?
Yeah.
And he would do the donkey and I would play Shrek, and we would sit in the main room and like run lines. And I ran lines with a ton of people. Ian Edwards helped me run lines, and all sorts of super funny people from the club were like, helping out, helping me kind of
getting you ready,
get me ready, yeah. And like, helps you get your comedy timing together and shit. And we were basically at the time, the script, the scenes we were doing were just scenes from the movie. They were just the same scenes.
Yeah.
So, because the script hadn't been developed that far yet. So, yeah, man, it was super weird. And then the pressure started kicking in, because then I'd come in to callbacks, and callbacks would be like Jeffrey Katzenberg and David Geffen and like
wow,
Sam Mendes.
Now you've auditioned for a lot of TV shows and movies and stuff like that. Is there a different kind of pressure whenever you walk into that room, because it's maybe a slightly less in the wheelhouse because less reps on the stage, like as far as theater goes? Is it a different kind of pressure, do you feel?
You mean like more like, is there more pressure to audition for TV or movies or theater?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like, did you feel like it was like, oh, this is like you went in, like, where you shook it all, like, this is like for a Broadway musical? Like, I don't.
Oh, yeah. No. It's like the craziest it's ever been as an actor auditioning for like a movie or TV show is like Ivan Reitman was in the room one time. Harold Ramis was in the room one time. And Adam, I'm forgetting his name. The guy who created Step Brothers with Will Ferrell.
Adam McKay.
McKay.
Wow.
For Step Brothers. I was in for 3 or 4 times for Step Brothers. And like, that's about, and he's amazing, Adam McKay. And it was like people like that. That's like a lot of pressure, to have those people in the room. But for Broadway, once you start getting like closer to the end, for DreamWorks, because it was like DreamWorks, everyone was there, and it was fucking terrifying. Like by the end, you had a room full of people. Like there would be like 9 or 10 people in my callback watching me, and every single person in the room is like, they've all made everything, you know, and you're like, oh God, how are you supposed to? And then you're supposed to sing and perform in front of them, and that's a lot of pressure. I mean, I like that kind of pressure. Like that's like my kind of thing. That's my kind of cooker, is to get into a room where you're,
where it's like, I have to perform right now. Let's do this. I'm gonna elevate I'm gonna step up to the plate. It's game time.
I've always been thankfully somebody that doesn't choke when I get like a big opportunity or I have to be in front of really, really big people. Like I thankfully have not been someone
you're
who's
able to keep your cool.
Yeah, where my adrenaline kicks in. And actually, really crazy enough, the last Shrek audition that I went to was me and two other guys. There were three of us up for it, and one of them was a Tony winner. One of them was a Tony-nominated guy, and then there was me, who was a doorman at the Comedy Store, right? Literally coming from the Comedy Store every day to like go whenever they needed me for these callbacks. And I'm like sitting there between these two guys, and they have a camera guy, and the camera guy's interviewing the three of us about like our auditions and stuff. And he goes, so to the Tony winner guy, he goes, how do you feel about your chances when it comes to something like this? And then the guy goes, well, I feel like I have a really good shot, because I just won the Tony like 2 years ago, and this is, right in my wheelhouse. It's like something I feel like this is a really strong, thing for me, and it'd be a good move, whatever. And, I'm not just brand new. Like I have some experience and this and that.
He's like saying all the things that you're like listening to. You're like, wait a second, is that me?
Yeah, exactly. He's talking about me.
Yeah.
Then he goes to the other guy, and Tony nominated guy, and he's like, you know what? As a Tony nominated actor, like, I've accomplished a lot in my career, but this is something that means so much to me, and I feel like this would be the next perfect step for me, and I really relate to it, and like I'm very, very well trained, like I'm whatever.
I don't even know if I want it that bad.
Right, exactly. And then they get to me and they go, Stephen, how do you feel about your competition? And I said, for them to be my competition, they'd have to be good.
What?
I said that.
You went for
on
it?
camera.
Yeah.
The video of me saying that went to Jeffrey Katzenberg and Sam Mendes, who did American Beauty, and all these amazing people had to watch me shit on these two guys, and then they cast me the next day and like gave me the part.
That's so funny. But it's such a funny response though, because it's so ridiculous. Like they're talking and they're naming all their credits and stuff, and they're aware that you
I'm
like are a
right
door guy at the Comedy Store. They know.
I'm a comedian, and I slammed them a couple times, like where like I was a little mean, and maybe it was from like watching Jeff Ross all the time at the club and watching all these other guys who are mean. You get mean, and like
you definitely, being around the Comedy Store, you definitely get thicker skin over the years of performing there.
Totally,
100%.
Did you feel like you were a softer person before you started performing there?
1,000%.
Isn't that so funny? That's like the weirdest thing.
I like had a meltdown literally last week where I like kicked two people out of the original room that were just being douchebags, and I've never done that before.
Wow.
I was like, get them out of here.
Holy shit.
Get them out.
While you were on stage?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
It was insane.
That's incredible.
And the staff thought it was a bit for the first 30 seconds that I was doing it, because, I do a lot of weird characters and out there like performance stuff on stage.
Yeah.
But then I was like, no, get those two out of here.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It was intense.
Oh, we're getting a call right now.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Hello?
And I think, hang on. I'll take it. Hang on. Let's take it.
You look at the caller ID.
It's Tracy Morgan.
Oh,
what?
Tracy?
He was at was he on that show with you the other night? I know he's been at the store.
He was on the lineup.
Okay, well,
hello, Tracy. Is this you?
Yo, what's up, son? How you been?
Dude, I've been great.
Dude, I saw you the other night, man. You melted down. You took those clowns to town, baby.
I had a little bit of a meltdown, Tracy. I was hoping that no comics as great as yourselves were there to witness that.
Nah, man, I saw that, dude. You know what you should have done? If I was you, I would have gotten off the stage, I would have gotten in a cab, got home, and got my wife pregnant. That's what I would have done if I was you. Instead, I just see you hanging out, drinking with your friends.
So wait, you're saying that I shouldn't have gotten mad, that I should have taken out my frustration on my wife
frustration on that pussy.
and impregnated
your wife.
Okay.
Be a man.
Is that that's what being a man is all about, impregnating wives and women?
You gotta impregnate your wife.
Okay, wow. It's amazing. That's amazingly good advice.
Did we just lose Tracy, or is he still there?
No, I think he's still. Tracy, you still there?
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Glick? How you been?
Oh,
Wait,
man,
you guys are boys? You guys know each other?
Oh yeah, no. Me and Tracy know each other a little bit. We done one show together.
Yeah, this dude crazy. This motherfucker crazy as a sizzle straw.
Wait,
Wow.
wait, what's a sizzle straw?
Oh, you never had a sizzle straw?
No,
That's
no.
like one of those. It's like a straw that has like a loop in it. You ever?
Oh, like a
I
silly
like
straw?
the sizzle straw.
Yeah, no. He's a big
Wait,
sizzle.
he calls them sizzle? I think
he
it's
called
silly
look,
straws.
Don't listen. Don't
say
don't
that,
correct. Don't
Don't
correct.
he doesn't like to be
Don't
corrected?
correct me, Jeremiah.
I'm just
Get that pussy.
I'm just glad you know my name, Tracy. You know,
All right.
that's an accomplishment in itself.
All right, Tracy. I'll see you later for racquetball.
Okay, bring your balls.
Okay, so you just have this relationship with Tracy that I don't even know. You play racquetball with him?
We play racquetball every other Thursday,
Really?
and I have to let him win because if I don't, he'll beat my ass.
Well, it sounds like sometimes he has a little bit of an ego. Like I don't want to, put that out there, but he kept just telling me, he just kept yelling at me to impregnate my wife.
Well,
That's the only thing to make me a man.
That's what in his mind, that is what's most important. You know, getting the ladies pregnant. That's what he does.
Oh, I mean,
he impregnates.
I'm well aware.
He's an impregnator.
So you got cast in this musical,
Right.
And what happened right after that?
Oh, so
Just to wrap up the story.
Oh, sure. So they move me immediately. I get signed same day. I get signed by Barry Katz, the manager. You know the manager.
I think we're getting a phone call right now, actually.
Oh, what?
Is this Stephen?
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Hey Barry, how's it going?
I just want you to know that I've been watching your career blossom over the years. And I have to say, I wish we still worked together.
Oh, wow, Barry. That's a very nice thing for you to say. You're a great guy, and I really appreciate you.
I knew you were going to skyrocket into the atmosphere.
That's well, you know what? You've always been such a sweet guy, and that's a real nice thing to
I knew
say.
that destruction would be in your path, whatever audition room that you stepped into.
Wow, that's such a nice compliment. And you're such a great guy. I wish we got to work together longer than we did.
So I wanted to call you still about those 10% royalty checks from Shrek. I still need some of those checks.
All right, I think we're losing service. I can't.
I need
I can't.
10% of your.
Wow,
Man,
look
can
at
you
that.
believe? I mean, I
can't
hope
believe
he's doing okay.
I hope so
He's
too.
asking for your Shrek residuals.
God, that's so scary, isn't it?
Wow.
Ooh, you have a lot of people that listen to this show.
Yeah. Well, he's if you don't know who Barry Katz is, top manager,
Great guy.
great guy in the game.
Yeah, no, it was a very awkward, bad situation actually, because I got signed by him, and then Jeff Garland called me 2 days after I signed with him and went, "You're not signing with him. You're signing with me." And he got me signed at 3 Arts, and then I signed it. I was with Barry Katz for maybe 2.5 days.
That's weird that he would call about residuals from Shrek this
That
long
is
ago.
weird.
Whenever
That's a
you're only
long
with him for
time
2
ago.
days.
Yeah. But then, I got a good manager. Started working and went out to New York, and it was great. And then I lived there for almost 2 years. Worked on the show, and I moved from a shitty tiny apartment where I lived in Encino at the time with a fundamentalist Christian who would come into my room and steal my porn. Yeah.
Hard copies?
Hard copies. I had DVDs, and he was stealing my DVDs.
Oh, yes.
And then the other roommate was a meth addict, and so he would steal we had those two guys that would like one would steal my food, the other one would steal my porn, and the place was such a fucking gross.
This
place
sounds
to
like
live
a
in.
weird sitcom.
Yeah,
That needs to be explored. One's a
One's
meth head, one's a fundamentalist Christian.
It's Glickman. So then they moved me. DreamWorks moved me from that shitty apartment.
Yeah, DreamWorks is like, we are investing a lot of money in you right now, and we can't have this be a liability.
You need to live somewhere that doesn't have black mold in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So they moved me to 58th and 5th Avenue overlooking Central Park with a doorman. And it was like the nicest place I've ever lived in my entire life. And I lived there for 2 years. And there was window washers who saw my balls on a regular.
All the time, like,
yeah, they'd come down the side of the building and they'd look in and see me, and I'd wave, and I'd be half naked and be apologizing. It'd be the lower half would be naked, and top I always wear a t-shirt. I don't want to offend, but it was weird. It was like a very weird big switch.
I think we're getting a phone call right now. Hello, caller, who's this?
Hey, it's one of the window washers.
Oh my God!
They used to look over Stephen Kramer Glickman at the place on in New York near Central Park.
Oh wow! Oh hey man! Hey, is your father around? Is he around?
Yeah. Let me get Papa on the line. Hello? Is he? Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. How have you been? Oh, this is Jeremiah. This is his dad. His dad would come around a lot.
It says the caller ID says Jorge Rodriguez. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh yes, that is correct. It's true. He pays the phone bill. We will come around. We be washing the windows. I come down. We be coming down the building, and what do I see? But Mr. Glickman's testicles. Two pelos. It's too much for us. It's like two Stephen Kramer Glickman heads, but like below a penis with like beards on them. That is exactly what it looked like.
Oh yeah, no, these are definitely the guys. I'm really sorry that you guys had to witness that.
It was a sad day for our family. Muy triste. Yeah, when Mario he fell off. And he almost died. The first time I saw his balls, it was like I was tripping on LSD.
Oh, my God.
Because I felt like I was on another planet.
Oh, God.
Because I had never seen such beauty.
Wow. Jeremiah, what a compliment.
Right?
What a compliment
wow.
to get.
Unprovoked. These guys are calling in just talking about how beautiful your balls are.
They're beautiful. And they are beautiful. Mm-hmm. They shine bright like a diamond.
Are you sure that wasn't the reflection in the window?
It might have been. It's possible. It's a possibility.
Did we? Oh, I guess we lost him. I don't know.
Oh man. Good guys. So you were
working as a door guy at the Comedy Store before that. What a whirlwind to instantly, you're working like a near minimum wage job.
Uh-huh.
And to be transported where you're getting paid to work in a different state.
I didn't have a bank account. That's how my life was. Like I was getting checks from DreamWorks, and I was not cashing them. I didn't have a bank.
Yeah.
So I would just take the checks and put them in an envelope and hide the envelope in my closet because I knew that I could cash the checks after the show ended, and then I would have all the money to support myself because they were paying for all my stuff.
Right.
And they were giving me, what's it called?
Stipend?
Per diem.
Oh, per diem.
And per diem was like $500 a week or something like this.
Man. Isn't per diem the best?
Oh my God. So I just had I had these envelopes full of cash, and I would just stack the cash in my closet in this.
So you were living like the meth head that you used to live with.
That's 100%. Because I was
that's how you got your savings.
Yeah.
Instructions.
Literally. I had no idea what I was. And I remember David Pierce, my attorney, who handled my contract for it, and great guy.
Yeah, he's my lawyer too.
Great attorney. He turned to me and was like, "You gotta get a bank account." And I was like, "I'm afraid to get a bank account because I owed some bank $1,000, like that I had closed down an account with like Bank of America back in like I don't know, like,
And he's like, stop worrying about
1996.
that.
And
Yeah.
he was like, what are you talking about? Just open a fucking account. They can't take your money. And I was just so worried about it. But yeah, I mean, he's...
Well, whenever you
Yeah.
don't have much, whenever you're a struggling comic, you know, everything's kind of heightened whenever it comes to money and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You're like, no, I don't want this to go away. You're like kind of freaking out.
It is a very scary thing when it comes to money too. Like, you know, up to that point, I had always only had enough money to pay for whatever I had
Yeah.
at the time. And,
yeah.
you know, at the end of the month when it came time to pay the rent, it was like sometimes I was borrowing money from friends or Matt Walker, my buddy that I do nighttime show with.
Yeah.
He still gives me shit about that he had to pay my car insurance 1 month, like 1 month, but right before I got the Nickelodeon show, he paid my car insurance because I didn't have any money to pay my insurance.
That's very
Like,
cool.
It's a tricky business.
Yeah.
You know? It's hard, especially if you're a creative person like you or me, where you're trying to make stuff, you know, and you're like you're trying to make things and you're broke.
Yeah,
like,
create
ooh.
while supporting yourself. Yeah. It gets dicey sometimes.
It gets dicey.
So
for
we'll
sure.
talk about the Nickelodeon show in a second, but I want to talk to you about your current project that you've been working on, that I've had the pleasure to be a guest on, is the nighttime show.
Many times,
Dude,
You've been
such
there
a fun
since
show.
you've been there since the origin.
Yeah.
You're part of the origin story of that whole thing, and it's very weird that it has gone on as long as it has, and that it has continued to be more and more successful.
How many years has it been now?
It's 2.5. We're at 2.5 years.
Congrats.
We just
Dude, it's
thank
so
you.
hard to do that in LA, like to have an ongoing show that's also not just you keep it going, but consistently packs it out and having great lineups too. You know what I mean?
Well, like this past Saturday, we were sold out in the rain.
That's so hard to do in LA.
In
That's
LA,
so hard.
I was
dude.
like, "That's fucking nuts."
Yeah, because people they see clouds and are like, I think I'm gonna not go out tonight.
yeah, 100%.
They're so afraid.
People bounce all the time when
Yeah.
it's raining. Comics will drop when it's raining.
Yeah.
But no one dropped. Everyone showed up on time. We had Sarah Tiana. We had Mike Lawrence, Joe DeRosa, Billy Gardell, Brent Weinbach, and Zainab Johnson.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a crazy lineup.
Yeah.
Everyone fucking destroyed. We had Mike Glazer, who is
He's
one of
such
our
a
writers
great
on the
joke
show.
writer, yeah.
Great joke writer.
Yeah.
He writes a lot of our monologue jokes. Him and Bob Oshak write the monologue
So
mostly.
for the listeners who don't know, Stephen runs a show where it's kind of like a late night talk show where he does a monologue up front, and then after the guests do stand up, he invites them over to the couch.
Yeah,
to
they
play
sit on the
games
couch.
together.
We play games. We do weird stuff with them.
Yeah.
Like with Billy Gardell, we had an omelet bar. So we had like a full chef on stage making omelets during.
See,
and then
that's
I tried to ask Billy questions about his career using the word egg as much as possible, which was a stupid thing to do, but also a very fun thing to do.
But I'm sure it worked pretty well.
It was great. Like, and he played into it, and
Yeah.
he made egg jokes too. And it was just we just got. It was like we were on drugs, going. We need to like
Force
you get
this joke in.
You get your brain gets caught up, and I'm sure you do this too, where your brain gets caught up in an idea where you go, I think it would be really funny for Mike Glazer, who just graduated culinary school, to wear a white coat and a giant white chef hat and have an entire omelet station on stage where he's making omelets on stage. Like when we had Johnny Pemberton on the show. You know Johnny Pemberton?
Yeah, of course.
Very funny guy. Does not like being interviewed. Hates it. Hates talking about his career. So we have him on the show. And first time I tried to ask him questions about his career, and he just kept yelling, Hollywood, like didn't want to answer anything. And I was like, okay. We got to get good questions. We got to ask him good stuff. So I said, how about this? How about we just I ask you questions about the TV show Superstore and your new show Son of Zorn and what it's like to do these. But while I'm asking you, I'll make waffles on stage. And I had a waffle maker and waffle batter on my desk, and I made waffles and then threw the waffles at people in the audience.
I bet people were going crazy for that.
People fucking loved it, and he played along and answered real answers to real questions.
Because he was busy thinking of other stuff, so he didn't have to worry about thinking of himself. That's a great... Dude, genius.
Like, we have a lot of fun, and it's, you know, it's like a late night talk show that we get to screw around with people.
I like that you host it like a late night talk show host, but... you're not afraid to go out there and be like alternative and different, which they just can't do on television.
Sure.
So it's such a fun show to not only be on, but like to watch. It's super fun.
Well, you're a great guy. Thank you for saying that.
No, definitely. I like whenever I first saw you doing the monologue jokes and if a joke didn't land or whatever, just the way you just... everything, just the way you react and everything, it's fun to watch. Yeah, exactly.
If the joke doesn't go well, I get angry.
Yell at the writers or whatever.
I yell at the well, you know what we started. This is such a weird thing to say. So we were doing the monologue the way that you do a monologue, which is you have a bunch of jokes and then you read them one at a time, right? And I would, if the joke didn't work or if I fucked up someone's joke, then somehow either the writers are at fault or I'm at fault. And it gets frustrating for people because they sit around. These writers they come to the show and they watch you and they hope that you're going to do their joke, right? And so what we decided to do was instead, and we've been doing this for the last year, I have a glass box on stage that is full of monologue jokes, and then I make the audience pick the joke out of the box, and then I make them hold it up like a cue card, and I read it off out of their hands. And if it doesn't go well, I yell at them and blame them and tell them, pick a better fucking joke next time, asshole. Yeah. And then I go to the next person. And it somehow took all the pressure off the writers, took the pressure off me, and made it about me attacking the people in the audience.
Oh, yeah. And which the audience is...
They love.
If it happens to be a good joke, then you're like, great. But if it's a bad joke, then you're like, the audience is excited because then they get to see you go off the handle.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, there's like something about like involving the audience in a very specific way because my Matt Walker, who produces the show and is our head writer and kind of runs everything for me, he hates it when I hand a microphone to someone in the audience. And you hand a microphone to someone in the audience,
it's so dicey.
It's scary. It can be. Things can go sideways.
Yeah, you're always supposed to have a firm grip on that mic whenever you're talking to people in the audience.
You bet. And so this is a way of doing that without them actually being in control.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we have a really good time. And you did the first time we ever did it with Tom Green.
Yeah.
When Tom Green let us take over his show. And
dude. Yeah, and that was, you know what's funny is that was, whenever we did that was one of the first times that, as far as shows go, like productions that you asked me to bring my sax on the show.
Yeah.
And I had been doing it for a little bit, like on different shows, but that was like the first like thing that's probably like filmed. Maybe I can't remember if I was doing Kill Tony at that time yet, but I hadn't been doing it that much.
Wow.
So that's an interesting little thing.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. Well, as far as like in Los Angeles.
I always loved like when we had you on the live show and you did some impressions, and then another comedian who was an impressionist, who I won't say, but another comedian that was an impressionist who was later on in the show was like so mad that another impressionist was on the show. And I was like, Jeremiah, I didn't even think about it that way because you're so fucking entertaining in the way that you perform on stage because you do impressions, but you do like weird character stuff, and you do like your impressions are like.
I try to do anytime I do an impression, for the most part, I've got a couple impressions that are just straightforward, but I try to do impressions that are inside of bits, so it's almost like not telling the audience like I'm about to do this.
Right.
So by doing that, a lot of people don't really think of me as an impressionist because I try to sneak it in, kind of.
You do sneak it in very well. Do you have anybody that you're working on right now?
I've been doing this one to my wife lately. Harrison Ford from What Lies Beneath. Do you remember that movie?
What? Yeah, of course.
Claire, I slipped, Claire. I didn't mean to sleep with another woman. I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Wow, that's really good. That's really, really good.
I don't know where to put it in the act, but I'm just like, I don't know.
You want to hear one I'm working on?
Heck yeah.
It was a quick one. It's really stupid, and it's not good. There's people who do it much, much, much better than me, but it's made it's made me a lot happier. Living in a country with a lunatic as a president. So I had to do an audition for Donald Trump, like to do Trump for a TV show. And I didn't get it, but I had to come up with an impression. So I worked on it, and you want to hear it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to just read one of his tweets. Okay, ready? Here we go. Because, like, up to this point, I thought, like, this is what he sounded like this. And then I listened to him, and I was like, no, that's not what he sounds like.
It's like, it's really up here. It's very, this is what it is. It's more in the top of the nose,
Like, okay, like, here's a tweet. Ready?
In the first few hours after hearing that North Korea's leader wanted to meet with me to talk denuclearization of the missile launches, I said I couldn't believe it. I can't believe it. But following morning turns out to be fake news. Who cares?
Something like that. Like, that's like...
I think we're getting a phone call right now. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
It's the President of the United States. I think he's upset about your impression.
Oh, no.
Is this Stephen Kramer Glickman?
Oh, my God. Oh, yes, it is.
Were you just doing an impression of me?
You know what, I'm sorry. I'm trying to learn an impression.
Well, let me hear it, because I want to just hear it one more time. I want you to spit in my face to face, man to man, dick to dick.
I mean, okay, I'll try my best. It's something kind of like,
I like a saxophone. I like to blow it and stick it in my mouth.
Listen, I sound nothing like that, okay?
I'm pretty sure you do. This is kind of the way you sound.
Listen, you sound like Joe Pesci that had hocked up on cocaine.
Joe Pesci, that is completely not what Joe Pesci sounds like. I actually know Joe Pesci. I'm going to call Joe Pesci. I'm going to get him on the phone right now. Hang on a second. Okay, here we go.
I think, okay, wait, so we have Trump.
I have Joe.
You have Joe Pesci on your line?
I have Joe Pesci on your line. I'm on my line.
And I have the President of the United States on my line? Yeah.
Who is this? Hey. Is that my good friend Joe Pesci?
Hey, what the fuck is going on over here? What are you doing?
Hey, we were just talking about you. This impersonator was saying he was good friends with you, and everybody knows that I'm the best friends with you.
Me and this guy, we are very good friends. We're all buddies. We're great friends. We're the best of friends. I gotta go take a shit. I'll talk to you later.
Oh my God! Wow, that was Joe Pesci and Donald Trump.
I just dumped Trump. I couldn't listen to him anymore.
Oh God!
Oh, dude, I almost forgot. We have this large pizza sitting in front of us. We've had it here for like half an hour. This next segment brings us to Pizza Party. Pizza, time for pizza party. Dude, I'm so excited to eat this pizza with you. I got a large pepperoni pizza from Joe's.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm lactose intolerant.
Are you really?
Yeah, I can't eat cheese.
You seriously can't eat cheese?
No, I'm completely lactose intolerant.
Okay, this has never happened before. This concludes Pizza Party. Pizza, this has been the Pizza Party.
I've only had it happen once before where I got banned from a club, and it was my doing. It was the Flappers Comedy Club, and I'm proudly banned for life from Flappers.
For life?
For life, because they I was on a benefit show at Flappers.
We have somebody calling in real quick.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, man, I heard you were in for life, dude.
Oh,
What
hey.
are you in for?
Is this somebody calling from the LA County Jail?
Yeah, dog. Hey, man, what are you said you were in for life?
Wait, is this Dennis?
Yes, Dennis.
Hey, what's up, Dennis?
Hey, man.
Hey, man, good to hear your voice, man. That's crazy.
Hey, so what did you do for to like go to prison for life?
Oh, wow. Well, it wasn't exactly prison, but Flappers, you could consider it to be a prison of the mind.
Okay, so you're in Flappers jail?
Yeah, I'm in Flappers jail.
So what? So what did you do to get in Flappers jail, man? I feel like that's pretty hard to do.
It's pretty harsh. Jeremiah, do you ever perform at Flappers? Do you ever do shows there?
Not recently.
Okay, well, I don't know if this is a story that I don't want to like get you in trouble with.
I mean, I think it's Dennis that's really curious about it. I could care less about your story.
All right, Dennis.
Dude, I'm so curious, man. Like, what is this story?
Oh,
I mean,
Dennis.
it's hard enough to like get Flappers like jail for life because like I got 6 months to a year, but then I brought 10 people and then it was cool.
Oh my God,
Dennis, I don't know if you
Dennis.
guys should be torching a club like this, but
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
let's just say Jeremiah Watkins does not approve of this. Dennis is calling in. Glickman, you're banned for life. Let's hear this.
So what happened was this comic, a bunch of comics, Kira Sultanovich, a bunch of people, they all had me booked on this Jewish benefit for Israel, and it was an Israeli benefit at Flappers.
Sounds super Jewish, man.
Yeah, it was very, very Jewish.
Oh, that's chill though. That's chill, homie.
So I said yes, that I could do the show, but I was
Sure.
like, hold on, whatever. I said I'd do the show, right? Long story short, the booker calls me up. He goes, not the booker from the club, but the booker who booked this Jewish
The
Israeli
independent
benefit.
producer or whatever.
Independent
Yeah.
producer hits me up and he's like, hey man, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but show's been canceled. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, one of the owners of the club wrote me and said that he doesn't want to be associated with anything that has to do with Israel or Jews or any of this stuff. Completely.
Dang, dog, that's ice cold.
That's what I said. That's what I felt.
I mean, that sounds a little bit like the neighbor that's like a little like anti-Semitic, man.
I know, right? It's a problem. It's a problem for me.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the only things that like gets the hair on the back of my neck up. Like if there's like real problems, I don't mind joking about Jewish stuff, but if I feel like there's
If there's actual ill will there,
actual
you're like,
ill
all
will,
right.
I go, you know what, I
All
gotta
right,
say something or do something. And so he sent me the letter that the guy had written him, and the guy from the club had said that he believes that Israel is an apartheid state and a terrorist organization.
Oh, man.
And I basically
Doesn't that fool know that you were on Big Time Rush?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Dennis. So I took the flyer for the show, and I tweeted the flyer to the Anti-Defamation League.
Oh.
Dude, shit just got real.
Yeah. And Sarah Silverman retweeted it, and Jeff Ross retweeted it.
Yeah, of course.
And a whole bunch of other people. And I basically was like, this comedy club stands by this. This is what they said.
Wow.
They are they hate Jews, and they hate Israel.
Dude,
like whatever.
It doesn't make sense that a comedy club
You're a comedy
of
club.
all places. Do you know how many
can't-
Jewish comedians there
Yeah,
are?
you can't do shit like that. You can't, do shit like that.
can't run a comedy club without Jews.
You can't. We're a very large percentage of the population of comedians.
I think we lost Dennis, but we have a different caller calling in. Hello?
Oh.
I just want to say I am so proud of you, Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Oh wow! It's my uncle Morty.
Morty, yes. The way you stood up for yourself at Flappers, it brought a tear to my eye.
Oh God, you're Morty. I love you. You're a great guy.
I love you, SKG.
Oh, you're the best, kiddo. I'll see
the
you.
best.
I'll see you soon.
Hey, y'all say
I'll
hi
see
to
you
Bobby
at.
for you, okay?
All right. Tell everyone at Passover. I
All
said
right,
hi.
love you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, man, I'm still here. I patched back in.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
hey,
man, dude, I just want to say, man,
Dennis.
like, I ain't even a Jew or nothing, but that's for freaking hardcore gangster stuff, dog.
That's what I do, man. That's I'm a hardcore Jew gangster. That's
Dude,
what people
I like
say.
that, man.
People say that about me. It's so weird.
That's a bizarre situation.
That's a bizarre story.
Yeah.
but a true story, and it locked me out of the club. But I'm good. I mean,
like you stood up for the right reasons, Like it's kind of strange. Like I know it's an independent producer, but like if the club supports it, that's kind of a weird area to be in. Where you're like, what are you talking about?
Well, look, I always feel like if you don't piss somebody off at some point I've been doing stand up for 15 years. If I didn't have some issues at some point with somebody, then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not making any mark of your life if you're not you have to
have people. What I always say about like my comedy, I want people to have a visceral, strong reaction to my comedy.
Sure.
I would rather them love me and hate me rather than just be like, oh, that guy's okay. I hate that response. Like after a show, they're like, yeah, that was all right. I'm like, oh, you could have. I would have rather you just like punched me in the stomach than said, oh, that was all right. Like, oh, that's the worst.
That's how I feel about our shows when we do nighttime show. It's like if
it's not polarizing,
if people don't fucking absolutely love it or feel like they want their money back, like I want them to feel like they walk away from it being like, I just went to a party and it was the craziest shit I've ever been to. And, dude, at this month's show, no joke, the guitarist and the bassist got into a fist fight when they were trying to pack up their gear.
Is Eric still?
No, they're gone.
Oh, okay.
After this month, they're gone.
Oh, but that's who it was?
Eric and the guitarist.
His own bandmate?
They beat the shit out of each other
inside the improv?
Outside in the parking lot.
At least
no.
At least it was
in the parking lot. No,
Yeah.
thank God. If it happened in the club, it would have been
banned the show.
Yeah, it would have been a real mess. But yeah, they were out in the parking lot after the show at 2 a.m. and just fighting in the fucking parking lot, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
Dude, it sounds like you're involved in like some crazy business, man.
I
I
got.
didn't even know that he was Dennis was still on the line.
Wow, Dennis.
Yeah, dog. I'm like still here, man.
Are you still? Are we gonna have lunch after this, or what's the plan?
Yeah, it's on you, homie.
All right, good.
And
As
also,
long
you gotta bail me out. I'm still in LA County jail.
Oh no!
Yeah, this was my one phone call. Bye.
Oh, Dennis.
Oh, Dennis.
Dennis is a good guy.
Let's get into this next segment, fanning out.
Questions from fans.
I reached out to people on Instagram and Twitter, and if they could ask Stephen Kramer Glickman any question, what would it be? We'll do a few of these real quick, and then it'll bring us to our final segment of the podcast.
Sounds good.
At ReadyTMNT on Twitter said, would you rather fight a wolf with a bear on your side or fight a bear with a wolf on your side?
I'd rather fight a wolf with a bear on my side. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy, right?
Yeah, that's an easy question. That's a good question.
It's kind of cool though.
Yeah, it puts it in your brain. You're like,
I know.
yeah.
It really took me to me fighting you in a field, and I get to choose the wolf or the bear.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want that fucking bear.
Yeah, dude.
Bears are scary.
They're super scary.
Yeah,
dude. Some of
rip
the
your fucking face off.
That one scene in that Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Are you talking about Titanic?
Yeah, yeah, you know that scene where there's that iceberg floating. There's like a giant bear.
Oh
on
no,
it.
I know that movie. What's eating Gilbert Grape? That's what you're talking about.
The bear was eating Gilbert Grape.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
I love Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, no, there's a scene where he's literally getting like they added great sound effects, but like you hear like the crunch that's like he's gnawing on like his skull and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
It's horrible.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
The Aviator.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There
He's
we go.
flying with a bear.
He's flying in the air with a bear. When you know what? When
No, Shutter Island. That's what it was.
Oh, there we go.
That's what it was. He's riding a bear on this island. He can't find anybody on the island.
Dude, you know what? When this, you can't even do this joke anymore because it doesn't exist. But when video stores used to be around,
Oh, yeah.
I used to call Blockbuster Video and I'd go, "Hey there, I'm looking for a movie with. Do you got a movie with Tom Hanks in it?" And they would go, "Yeah." And I go, "It's a movie where he runs a lot." And then they go, "Oh, you're talking about Forrest Gump?" I go, No, not that one. He's in space. He's in outer space, and he's running in outer space." And they're like, I don't know if he's running, but
yeah,
Apollo 13.
13,
And I would
yeah.
just continue doing this till I named every single Tom
my
Hanks movie.
How long would they stay on the
no,
line
you
with you?
remember this? He is in outer space. He has a girlfriend. His girlfriend is a mermaid. And they're like, splash. And I would do this. I used to do this back in like
There's like a
2000
volcano and stuff like that.
Back in like 2004, I would call video stores and annoy the living shit out of them. All right, let's take more questions.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, all good. At Patrick Ellum 386, what was it like managing the most successful pop boy band sensation, Big Time Rush?
Whoa, that's a pretty great question. Well, I played their manager. I wasn't really their manager. Kids, a lot of times, still think that I'm actually their real manager.
Oh, really? That's
In
like
real
a constant
life.
thing?
And they'll send me tracks and ask me if I'll listen to the tracks to help them with their careers.
Now, how often do you listen to these tracks?
Pretty often.
Yeah, because
I
I'm
still
sure
listen.
it's fascinating.
You know what I did is, I have a problem with with overreaching sometimes in my own stuff. Like I was in an Uber and this kid is driving me in this Uber. He's 20 years old, real nice kid. And he's like, I start talking to him about stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you were on Big Time Rush, like you the record producer." He's like, "Can I play you one of my songs?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, man." I mean, I wasn't the actual record producer, but yeah,
but
sure.
I have ears, yeah. I'll listen.
Yeah. So he plays me one of his songs, and he's a rapper, and his music, he's a rapper, and he's fucking great.
Oh, you told me about
Yeah,
this.
yeah. And so then I asked him if he'd come do the nighttime show at the club, and we'd book him as the closing act to rap. And he was like, "Hell yes!" And he showed up at the show, and I got him. I even outfitted him. I got him some clothes and shit, so he would have something to wear for the show.
Dude, that's
And
so cool.
He brought his entire family. His grandparents came to come see him from. He was like from Inglewood, and he showed up with about 15 people
That's
to come
so
watch
cool,
him.
man.
It was amazing. But it's like, that's, like, dude, the other day, no joke, and I don't want to, talk too much about this shit, but the other day, a kid wrote me, and he was like, "Hey, man, I want to be an actor, and I live in, fuckballs, Ohio." And I was like, "Okay, well, what kind of stuff do you like to do?" He goes, "I'll send you a video." And he sent me a video of him trying to act, right? And he was very good, and he was really funny, and I thought he was very talented, and he was doing a lot of these voices and stuff, and singing, and I was like, he was like maybe 22, and I was like, well, if you want to get into it, man, I'm sure there's like a theater or something that you could do, find a place to go do it. And he was like, "I don't really know how to get started." And I was like, "What town do you live in?" And he told me the town. I looked up, I'm bored. I was like bored watching Antiques Roadshow, right? And I'm like, I look up on my phone, I find the town, I look up community theater in that town. I call the community theater. I'm like, "Hey, this is Stephen Glickman. I live in Los Angeles. I work for Nickelodeon. I found some talent that lives in your town. Do you want to have them in for an audition? Call me back, let me know." And they called the next day, and they were like, "Yeah, of course. Who is it? Please let him know." And I got this kid an audition at his local community theater out of boredom while I was watching Antiques Roadshow.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
that's like I'm so like when we were doing the Big Time Rush show, when we were doing the Nickelodeon show, I had shit to do 70 hours a week. Now I have I work, 2-3 days a week. I've got a couple things that I do that are great to make money and to kick ass, and voiceover stuff. It's like 20 minutes. It's easy.
Yeah, in and out of the booth.
Yeah, except like now you have all this extra time to do other weird shit. Anyways,
That's so nice of you.
well,
This is from our buddy Lance Patrick, who we both know. Can you ask Steven if he ever sold that dirt bike he had on Craigslist? If not, I'd like to make an offer.
That cocksucker. That motherfucker. Do you know about this?
No.
I'm working at the Comedy Store. Lance Patrick was the manager, or like the assistant manager at the club.
Okay.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
You know who he is,
Yeah.
right? So we had been talking, and I told him this horrible story about how my ex-girlfriend, she was a real bitch, and she was like the worst, and I thought that she was cheating on me with this guy John, and and blah 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 blah, and it turned out that she wasn't, and I was like, really, I fucking hated this guy and this whole bit, and I went on and on and on and on, and telling him my secrets about my life and stuff, right? This is like a million years ago. I come in the next day to work, and I check my cell phone, and I have something like 25 missed phone calls. And I go to my email, and this is before I had email on my phone. I go to my like AOL account.
Yeah, you sign in.
And, boo-doo-doo, welcome to AOL. You've got mail.
You've got mail.
Yes. And there's about 55 emails like that I have on there, and they're all about this dirt bike. You got dirt bike for free. Come pick up the dirt bike. I want your free dirt bike, like one after another. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I listen to all my voicemails, and it's all people going, is the dirt bike still there? Hope the dirt bike's still there. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm so angry, and I'm like, who would do this? And then I get an email from a guy, and it goes, hey man, this is John, just letting you know, this is my new email address. I did fuck your girlfriend. I fucked her 50 ways from fucking Sunday. I'm still fucking her, and fuck you, you piece of shit, or something like this, right? And I'm like, that fucking cunt, and I fucking lose my mind, and I call my ex-girlfriend at like 9 a.m, who I hadn't spoken to in years, and I'm like, you fucking bitch, I know that you fucked him while we were together, you fucking cheated on me. And she's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm yelling at her, I fucking gave you everything, and I'm yelling at her, and Lance comes running in the room. No, it's a practical joke.
Oh,
I made a fake
no.
Craigslist, and I sent you the email from that fake account. And I was like, I have to go, and like hung up on her. And that's the story.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Sorry for using the C word.
All
Ladies,
good.
if you're listening and you're upset, but it was
the heat of the moment.
It was.
Telling me what my heart.
Oh my God, we're getting a phone call right now.
Are we?
It's my aunt.
Hello, is
My
this,
aunt's calling.
Yeah, is this Steven's aunt?
Hello?
Hi. What's your name?
This is Aunt Elaine. Stephen, I'm very upset with you. You shouldn't be using a word like cunt. What's the matter with you?
Wow, Aunt Elaine just went for
I
it.
really thought that I taught you better. It's really embarrassing to the whole family.
Oh my God, Elaine, I'm so sorry.
It's just rude. It's just rude to use a word like that. I thought I taught you better.
Oh, we're getting another phone call. It's Adam Sandler's grandma.
Oh my God.
Why would you do that? Why would you use that word, Stephen?
I'm sorry.
Who is that person? Who's calling? It's Mrs. Sandler. That's who it is. It's Booby. Oh, hello, Booby. It's Booby Sandler. Hi, Booby Sandler. How could Stephen do use that word? It's so What's the matter with Stephen? Why would he do that? It's so disparaging to women. It's so hurtful to women.
Oh my God,
Okay,
this is
this
a living Jeremiah. This
really
is
out of control.
I thought you knew somebody, and you know what? The only saving grace is that you stood up for Israel.
Well,
Did we lose them both at the
I think
same
they
time?
both are. Yeah, I hung up on both of them.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay. Wow. My blood pressure is through the roof.
Yeah, me too.
At Majeka Man on Instagram. Do you have any beef with NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys?
No. I love NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. I am very good friends with the Joey Fatones,
Dude, so
of the NSYNCs.
I worked with him on the Impractical Jokers cruise, and
Get outta here.
dude. He could not have been nicer.
He's the nicest guy.
Dude. Okay, I had a moment on the Impractical Jokers cruise where we were rehearsing with Joey for the goddamn comedy jam, and we're harmonizing, and I'm playing sax. He sang the Nathaniel Rateliff "Son of a Bitch" song.
Wait, was Comedy Jam on the cruise?
It was on the cruise.
What,
dude? It was insane.
With Practical Jokers?
Yeah.
So was it Josh and the whole
the
team?
whole band,
Oh my God.
all of us. They booked us all to do stand up and do the jam on the ship from Wednesday through Sunday.
What ship was this?
It was a Norwegian cruise line.
Oh my God!
And we went to Costa
amazing.
Maya, Mexico. It was one of the coolest things I've gotten to do in comedy.
Did you take your lady with you?
No, because the two spots that we had were taken by the people who brought their girlfriends. So me and it was kind of we said if we go back, me and the other guy who's also married, his wife didn't get to go either, so he and I roomed together.
Oh,
they just claimed it first. It was one of those things where
I get it.
They were ahead on the jump and they were organized, and it just worked out. So it was like, well, yeah, you got us. We didn't. You guys claimed it. You found out that we were going to have extra space, and you got it. But our wives were like, next time if that happens, we're coming. We're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But no, it was great. So we were like, and then we played the show with him, and it was just one of those. Such a surreal experience because, I grew up with like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and all those bands, and I love boy bands and I love pop music and all that stuff.
Sure.
And he couldn't have been cooler and nicer whenever we rehearsed. And he graciously took pictures with whatever fans that were on the ship that wanted him to. And he even sang, I'm sure he didn't want to, but he even sang later in the weekend. Somebody requested Bye 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 on karaoke, and he did the dance, and he did the whole thing. You know what I mean?
No way. Good for him.
Yeah,
That's
he's
so
super
cool.
nice. Yeah.
He's a good guy. We met through, I'm friends with Hank Baskett, the fella who's married to Kendra Wilkinson. Do you know Kendra?
Oh, yeah.
From the Girls Next Door. Mm-hmm. So her and I and my girlfriend and we're all buddies. So I've gone to their house for some barbecues. And I went to their house for this barbecue, and Joey Fatone was at the barbecue, and I was losing my mind. I was like, "Oh my God, it's fucking Joey Fatone!"
Yeah.
I was like, "This is so cool," and then we were getting along so great. And then he watched me have this awkward moment where Lisa
Lampanelli?
No. She's a
Lisa Lopez?
famous basketball player. Lisa
Loeb?
Yes, Lisa Loeb. No, wait. Hang on. She's a famous basketball player.
Lupita Nyong'o?
Yes. Lisa basketball player. I'm going to find out. Hang on.
I'm doing this tonight. You're probably gonna start a fight. I know this can't be right. Hey, baby, come on.
Wow, that sounds great.
Oh, thanks.
Okay,
I do a little bit of a JT impression.
Here's who it is. It's
more like a lot of it.
Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Leslie
from the women's basketball team for the Olympics. I didn't know who she was, and we're at this party, and she's very tall, and she walks by, and I go, hey, and she goes, hi, and this is in front of Joey Fatone. This is how I made my first impression on Fatone. Yeah. I go, you, I know you are the
Oh, you're that guy.
You are the basket. You do with the basketball. You're the basketball. You do the basketball thing. You're the basketball player. You play basketball. And she goes, and that's verbatim what I said. And she goes like this. You mean I'm on the women's basketball team for the Olympics? And I go, right.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And she goes like this. Oh, God damn it. And just walks away from me and didn't speak to me for the rest of the time. And Fatone was like, smooth Glickman.
Yeah.
Very
That's
smooth.
so funny.
So he's a good guy. Very nice
she
guy.
was straight up like,
I know that I can't take no more. It ain't no lie. I wanna see you out that door, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
and then she said bye bye.
You know too many of those lyrics.
I know all of them.
Do you know all of them?
Yeah.
Have you ever performed at like a Backstreet Boys song?
We've done.
Who did I see do that?
We've done a jam where we did Backstreet Boys with Lisa Traeger in Tulsa, and I covered some of the. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. Now I can see that we're falling apart from the way that it used to be. Yeah.
Oh my God.
No matter the distance, I want you to know that deep down inside of me. And then you are.
This is too good.
My fire, your one
Totally blown away.
desire. You are. Don't wanna hear you say nothing but a heartache. Ain't nothing but a minute. I wanna hear you. I never wanna hear you say, oh, I want it that way. 'Cause I want it that way, yeah.
That's unbelievably impressive.
I'm sweating right now, and I'm super bashful.
You're singing like harmonies. You like know one person's whole line of that song.
I know. Well, they all sound very different. If you listen closely, they all sound very different.
That was insane. Has Joey heard you do that?
No.
Well, he has to. We have to make that happen. That's amazing. That's amazing, dude. That was very impressive.
Oh, thanks.
You should be on Broadway.
Oh, well, I don't know.
For God's sake.
Maybe I could be a Prince Valiant or something.
Oh, you could be all sorts of things.
Oh,
you're very
Steven.
talented.
Last question, then we'll do the final segment. What's the project you worked on or wrote for that you had the most fun on, and why? At Not Even Jeff on Instagram. Do you have a favorite project that you've worked on? Or it could be a little gig. It could be a short amount of time, like you were treated the best. It was just like a fun memory.
I spent 3 years with Mike Black. You know Mike Black?
Yeah, of course.
Great comic. He's the announcer for the nighttime show.
Yeah.
A dear friend. Mike Black and John Schnepp, who created... John Schnepp directed Metalocalypse on Adult Swim. The three of us spent 3 years at the Jim Henson Company with a TV show that we had, all three of us had created together, writing the show and then trying to get the show sold. And the show didn't sell, but it was incredibly fun. We had a big table read with all sorts of big talent and stuff. And we had 2 table reads. The first table read was Dana Snyder from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Steve Byrne, Brent Weinbach,
So
Eric
cool.
Charles Nielsen, Adrian Curry, and a couple other people, and it was a serious time. And Melissa Villaseñor before she got SNL.
Wow.
It was just all of us sitting around and reading through the script. It was fucking amazing. And then we did a second table read where it was all Henson puppeteers reading, and Mark Ellis and Steve Simone were reading as the leads.
So many good people.
There's so
on that
many
project.
funny people
Yeah.
in a project like that, and it was a very, very expensive show, and that made it hard to do. So
Yeah.
we'll at some point we'll be able to revive it and make it at some point.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do like an Adult Swim show, and Jim Henson Company wanted to do Game of Thrones. Like they wanted to
feel you.
They wanted to do 1.2 million an episode, and we wanted to do 1.2 million a season.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Very
like,
different visions.
It's different visions, but
But you got to work with a lot of cool people.
Yeah. And then I wrote a series for Comedy Central that we got to make a pilot for way back. That was maybe about it was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And that was, that cast was Ryan Stout, Josh Sussman, Jen Murphy was in that, Eric Charles Nielsen again, and me, and then a bunch of little children, and that was super fun. But yeah, like I mean, I have a series that I'm trying to sell right now that I'm trying to make happen, all about my childhood, and it's very personal, and it's all about me being a little fat 13-year-old in a surfer town where like no one likes me, and I'm not like I'm at like a school. It's about me at 13 in 1992 trying to like fit in and make friends, and no one being down for it. And it's like,
I bet it's super relatable to a
really
lot
relatable.
of kids.
It's very nostalgia heavy. And
I'm all about that.
Yeah, and what was neat about it, which has been an interesting process writing wise, is I was trying to fill out the junior high school because it takes place in junior high. So I was trying to fill it out with real stuff and like thicken the world around me so it didn't just feel like any other thing, you know? And so what I did, which was a little emotionally abusive to myself, but it was great, is I found an old yearbook from that year, and I hunted down 27 people I went to junior high school with that I haven't spoken to in 28 years.
So cool.
And I got them all on the phone, and every single one of them had stories about me and about themselves and about what a horrible experience it was for them being in 7th and 8th grade, and how awful the school was for their own personal reasons. And I wrote all those stories down, and then
that stuff's
put
gold.
a ton of them into the pilot. So the pilot feels very like real and
raw.
And raw. And when people read it, they're like,
"Oh, this happened.
This happened. This is real." And,
or at least
and
super
there's more
relatable to
it.
them.
Yeah. So it got me signed as a writer at an agency.
Dude, congrats! That's amazing.
So yeah, I got signed at Abrams because of that, which is a
yeah.
huge deal.
Yeah.
For my life. So yeah, man. I mean, I love doing that kind of stuff, and hopefully I'll get to have a series on the air at some point, or get to write on a series. You know, we'll see. We'll see, Jeremiah.
It's gonna happen.
The future is,
I believe,
a mystery.
It's gonna happen.
It's a mystery, Jeremiah.
This brings us to our final segment.
Okay.
Sax talk. Oh, sax talk. All right, Steven. This is sax talk. I'm going to play some sweet, sweet saxophone underneath you as you tell any story of any sexual encounter that you'd like to share with this audience. And we will begin whenever you're ready.
I've been with my girlfriend for over 6 years. We love each other a great deal. She's a beautiful woman. When we met, she finally, after many years, I finally got her to take her pants off. And when I finally got to see what was underneath, it was shaved, baby. It made me feel good. I was very excited about the shaved situation that was happening there. And after about 5 years of being together, she decided to stop shaving and start waxing. I had never been with a lady with a waxed vagine before. And I thought, this is going to be good. But then it takes a different amount of time with the waxed vagina in comparison to the shaved vagina. You got to let it grow out if you're going to wax. So thus, I had to get used to the hairy pussy. And she said to me one day, she said, "I'm going to wax tonight." And I said, "Oh, thank God." And she went, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought you didn't have a problem with the whole hairy pussy thing before the waxing. And I said, no. I love the pussy every way I can get it. But, honey, here's the thing. When we got together, it's like you gave me an ice cream cone, vanilla ice cream cone. And every day I eat that vanilla ice cream and I love it. I don't think about pralines, pecan and pralines. I don't think about Rocky Road. I don't think about mint chocolate chip. And then just imagine one day you hand me that vanilla ice cream. And it's covered in hair. I'm going to still eat that hairy ice cream. And she said, get the fuck out of bed right now. So, yeah, that's the story about the hairy pussy.
Ooh. The long hairy tail of the hairy pussy.
I haven't been telling that one. So there you go. That's a new one.
We got a freshie.
You got a fresh one.
A fresh one on the podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, that was great.
Ice cream covered in hair.
My favorite. That's actually what I order at the Hi, could I get a fudgicle with some hair on it, please?
Yes.
It
is the truth. You're gonna eat that pussy no matter what. You know, you're gonna do what you gotta do to make it happen. Man. You gotta do what you gotta do, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to plug? Go see the nighttime show, definitely at the Improv.
Go see the nighttime show at the Hollywood Improv. It's once a month. Next one is April 21st. And it's that show is going to be different than most shows because it's the 100th episode of the Nighttime Show podcast live.
Dude, that's so cool.
With a bunch of celebrity guests. So that'll be a big, fun, weird night.
That'll be great.
But yeah, and then the Nighttime Show podcast airs every week. Weird, all sorts of weird guests you can check out. That's on iTunes and iHeartRadio, things like that. But honestly, you can get me at Stephen Glickman, STPHEN Glickman on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, and also that's my gamer tag on Xbox. So if you play Xbox Live, fucking get in there.
Guys, reach out to Steven.
Hit me up on Grand Theft Auto and blow me up once or twice.
And tell him how much you loved him on Jeremiah Wonders.
There we go.
Love you, buddy. Thanks for doing the pod.
Thank you.